And are there some things that you have done in your family that you've tried in terms of, sowing those seeds of faith, connecting their hearts with God that haven't worked?
Yes.
Or have worked for one and not for another child, or that sort of thing. Any thoughts on those?
Yeah, I mean, lots of things. Some has been, I love quiet and I love contemplative practice. And again, my 14-year-old extroverted, kind of hyperactive, wonderful son is a little less enthralled with, contemplative practices than I am, as you would imagine. And so I think really giving space, a big lesson that I've had to learn the hard way is fear-based parenting, which is rooted in a need to control your child, is toxic to them and to you. Because fear is, it's this apprehension of the potential for evil or for bad in the future, which it's almost impossible not to have that as a parent. And it's rooted in need of control. And so when you let fear, when you let that apprehension of what could happen, when you let that dictate your emotional relational posture toward your child, at least in my experience, I end up attempting to control my child to get them to do what I think they need to do, which is obviously always right.
Yep.
But it's actually in order so that I am safe and okay when they are safe and okay. And what that does is it actually, I think, stifles their free will, their sense of exploration and adventure and compassion in a safe place with God, and it doesn't respect and honor their dignity. So a hard lesson for me has been, and our kids are all wonderful, but has been learning to parent more out of faith than out of fear, and recognizing. I just came across this great stat a few days ago from some psychological metrics that said the average, and I think it was referring to like kind of Western middle class people, but the average person has 15% of the control they think they have.
Right.
Meaning we have a little bit of control and we have responsibility with that, in particular as parents, we're responsible for our kids, but we don't have anywhere near the control over life in general and our kids in particular that we think we have or we want to have or we think we should have. And so learning to release that illusion and trust them and trust God and trust the process. And, when they're doing this, try to be steady, if that's spiritually or emotionally or academically. That does not come easily for me. I can give a sermon on that. That'd be great. But actually living with, as a not parenting out of fear has been one of the greatest challenges, at least, which is, again, one of the gifts of parenting is it just exposes all of your stuff.
Yeah.
And you have to deal with it.
Like a mirror, isn't it, to our lives?
Marriage and parenting, I think, are the two hardest things we'll ever do.
Yeah, I agree.
And they're the two greatest invitations to growth for most people. Not that you have to be married or have to have kids for that, but they are two stunning invitations to growth and maturity and really higher levels of consciousness and compassion.